I'm Dr. Christopher Barker, clinical psychologist licensed in New Jersey, and welcome to Holding Space. And today we're holding space for Rosie Maloney, who has an amazing story. She's the author of Girl Unbroken. I love the title.
Thank you.
A memoir chronicling her survival of severe childhood abuse, foster care system, all the things with the, if you follow me on LinkedIn, all the things we've been talking about recently that, can go wrong. And following with my work with like relational repair, I mean, a lot of what Rosie has been doing is really aimed at relational repair. She speaks to schools, she talks to professionals, she talks to me, and about healing and resilience and breaking cycles. And I'm talking too much about her. I should let her talk about herself. Welcome, Rosie.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Baker. I really appreciate it.
I'm, well, it's holding space with Dr. Barker, but I mean, today is your space. So, I mean, what would you like everyone to know?
That your past doesn't define you, that regardless of what kind of adversity or challenge that you've been in your past, whether it's sexual abuse, physical abuse, all of the trauma, you don't have to carry it with you in the future. And I'm 53 right now. And yeah, it took a long time because I feel like once you are separated from the physical or the abuser, you think you're good. You're like, oh, okay. But once you are separated, you realize what it has done for you. And and there's a way to get through that. Absolutely.
Yeah, we've been talking about that again on LinkedIn, and it's just that it's not that you walk away, it's that you escape. And much like tunneling out of a prison or something, it's hard work. And
Yeah.
so what has it been like for you to rebuild, I guess? We want to keep the positive thoughts there.
No, and I think that's the beautiful part. I finally had gotten to a part to where I am beyond grateful. I was born. I'm grateful I went through what I went through. And I shouldn't say grateful, but I am the person I am today because of it. And the fact that resilience is a real positive thing. And now I want to share my information and knowing that you're not alone and knowing that you can have that. And I'm building a little community on TikTok and on social media of people who've experienced similar challenges that score all 10 on ACE quizzes but it's getting through it. And so there's always hope, always hope. And that's what I want to convey because I'm here and I wouldn't be. Uh, Most importantly, I'm going to say it's all about those small moments when a person is before you that needs help, needs time, needs care, and you take that moment to see them. That can literally change a person's life, those small
That's true.
moments.
That's true. Being seen is something that's so powerful,
Yeah.
especially when you're the system is not seeing you, and when all the things that you're going through sort of convince you that you're invisible. Do you want to tell us some about what it felt like to be broken down? I guess by this. I mean, it sounds like you faced a number of trials.
The adversity, it felt isolating. I was very alone, very broken. I was also diagnosed bipolar. And so having my mother diagnosed with bipolar, she never got treatment. I decided I was going to do things differently. And our entire generation has broke the cycle. Me being bipolar, I'm treated and medicated. And instead of a tragic incident by being diagnosed, I realized it was liberation. Now I know what I was dealing with. I can find the tools and the treatment and the support to get through it. And I'm beyond grateful. I have three amazing kids. I broke the cycle. My kids did not have the experience me and my siblings had when we were kids. I'm beyond grateful. Absolutely. And it's all because those small little life preservers helped me along the way. Yeah, I was broken down. but it was the people, it was those small moments, those life preservers, that lunchroom worker who gave me an extra pizza on or an apple to take home with me. It was the neighbors who reached out and left food on our doorstep. It was a teacher who opened her home to me to get me out of that situation. There's so many little moments where people have an impact on another, and knowledge is power. So, yeah, it was devastating. And yeah, there were difficult times, but getting through it, I think, is the magic and the triumph. And am I through? Am I on the other side? I don't know. I don't think it'll ever go away. I think it's how to manage it and what to do with it and what can you do and learn and share
That's
with others.
that's beautiful. I mean, it's absolutely true. I mean, regardless of what got you to where you are, it's those little things, the little things that make you feel seen, the little things that enabled you to realize that, hey, I'm somebody and I might be worth saving.
Yeah,
And you did, you saved yourself. And it's it's hard work being treated for bipolar. It's hard work climbing out of a situation like that, but you did the work. And, I think that's one of the things that we talk about a lot when we talk about abuse and bullying and everything else that has to do with people denying other people's validity is basically to say that we need to stand up and we need to recognize these people. They can't be alone. And being alone is basically being in the dark for so many people. But you did get seen, and the pizza and the opening of the home. All these things made such a difference.
yeah,
That's a message I would like a lot of people to hear, is that witnessing and being able to provide whatever help you can.
absolutely. That's so true. And there were a lot of people that let me down. There were social services, there were police officers, there were so many people where we were trying to get help for me to get me to save me out of that situation. And they didn't listen. They ignored, deflected, projected. It was really sad. And when I couldn't get out, I was at my darkest moments where I wanted to not be around. And I think it was those teachers and cheerleading and those moments in church and those leaders, Girl Scout leaders, all those volunteer, you don't realize what an impact you have on a person's life. They might be there one day a week. We never know. But it's a
Yeah.
life preserver that keeps you afloat. And whatever you're going through, it's that connection, like you say, being seen and being heard and validated and knowing that I matter.
You do so much, and I mean, your professional leadership, the roles that you're playing now. If you could tell us a little more about those, you're advancing the cause for a lot of people.
Yeah. So right now I have a conference that it's called Joining Forces with Prevent Child Abuse Utah. I have experience and Tooele Children's Justice Center of Tooele County. And that is always, if there was a CJC or a Children's Justice Center, and many have different areas depending on the area of the country, they have those. If they had a Children's Justice Center when I was a kid, those are the centers that can really help alleviate that multiple related trauma for a child repeating the same. It's the support we did anyway. That is what I'm very passionate about.
Yes.
Girl Scouts, but
Yeah.
there's so
No.
much there, really. It's so powerful. What the Children's Justice Center does is so impactful.
Tell me a little bit more about what they do. I'm interested. You're right. I mean,
So
it's a necessary resource.
yeah, they have social workers that are in there, counselors, and they have police departments. When they talk about a partnership, it's truly partnership. It's school teachers, school administrators, the Children's Justice Center, police officers, and if necessary, nurses and fire department, things like that. But it's where a child is interviewed in a safe environment, closed, all the safety moments, teddy bears, music, any kind of compassionate, depending on the age range, but it's recorded. You're in there with the social worker and you go through the interview one time. So the child is not repeating the same scenario over and over again. And it's kind of a
Right.
beautiful thing. And it's recorded and you're not interviewed in front of the perpetrators. It's it's independent and you have a safety net of all the people surrounding you. Like if there's even an accusation, it's discussed. It's saying, is this serious? And it's being heard. And too many people want to have the blinders on and say that it's not happening. And it's happening. It's happening.
You're true. And I mean, I've worked with several children who've been abused, and in cases in which you have to go and you have to tell your story, and then you have to tell your story again, and by then you've had some realization of, oh, I'm wrecking my family, and then sometimes the children recant, and you're right, that would be just absolutely wonderful to have it recorded once and not have to tell the story over and over again. It's traumatic to repeat it because you're
It really is.
reliving it every time you repeat it.
Hmm. Yeah. Or maybe the next time is through therapy or EMDR or whatever. But yeah, it's difficult. And so seeing those organizations, and another one is Switch Point that I used to belong to because I just barely moved away from the area. They provide a homeless shelter, thrift store, food bank, and lawn mowing business, a soda shop. But they have all of these places, built in businesses where the people that need support, they can live there and they could work and earn an income, and all that revenue from that's generated from lawn mowing business, water or soda shop, the thrift store goes back into the program to support the domestic violence shelter, the food bank, and it's beautiful. It's an amazing program too, and they're in southern Utah as well as northern Utah, so it's pretty amazing.
That is amazing. That's a very coordinated approach and something that we really need a lot more of. The resources are few and far between sometimes, and to hear about something like that just fills me with so much hope
Yeah.
because, it's like, yeah, it can be done. Something can actually happen. You can
Yeah,
make a difference.
you really can. You really can and it's those moments. It wasn't one person that changed my entire life. It was all these small moments and being treated and being in a safe environment to share. That's empowering when you get through the other side cuz and being believed,
Mm,
being heard. Yeah, and
yeah,
not in front of the parents or those people, but yeah, it's empowering. There's so many programs and I'm grateful. There are a lot of programs with therapy and reading, the amount of books there are, podcasts, music, exercise, it all feeds and helps and sleeping and eating right. I mean, there's so many components that help build your mental health and then piling on other stuff that has happened throughout your life and everybody has been through stuff,
mhm,
but it's that compounding and it's unpacking it. And my brother and we have 5 siblings among us, me being the youngest. Each one of them have dealt with the trauma differently. It was amazing because it kind of validated that I needed to go through my own journey and people do need to figure out their own path and what works for them. Talk therapy may not work for some, and EMDR, or I mean, there's so many, and there's
no,
so
that's
many
true.
resources. Anyway,
I mean, we're all a mosaic, and the experiences that we've had, the preparation that we've had, the interventions that we've had. Sometimes it makes picking a therapy modality and picking the best way to help kind of difficult, but it's worth exploring and it's worth realizing that everybody's coming from a different place and everybody has different resources. Because you had siblings doesn't necessarily mean that you had a support system with them. But I mean, you were all different ages, I assume. And so everybody was at a different developmental stage when they were experiencing troubles.
Yeah, and they had completely different experiences. My oldest sister is 10 years my senior, and everybody else is in between. So a lot can happen in those 5 years or those 10 years. And most of the time we were out to fend for ourselves.
Mhm.
But I mean, it still compounds, and each one of them have their own path to pave and their own journey to process through. And you're absolutely right. Yeah, even though we were siblings, it was when we were initially separated from foster care and then we reconnected. It was 30 years before all five of us were in the same room. And
Wow,
yeah, it's a journey, but it's
it is.
possible. And some are hard, and there's no one size fits all for anything. Every
No.
human is different.
What
Wow.
was the real turning point for you? Can you find one? It was like a moment in which the lights came on.
It was it was in college when I realized it was that moment of I thought I was free, and as long as I focused, I had just barely moved out, went to college, and I thought, "Okay, well, I'm not around these people anymore that hurt me. I'm good." I wasn't good. I just went through it, and that was really tough until the point I was, put in the psychiatric hospital and diagnosed bipolar. I understood therapy. I understood medication. I feel like it was that moment that was a huge turning point because I didn't do talk therapy. As I was growing up, my mother would talk so much about how bad therapy is, and so it took me time to realize, I'm doing other things myself. Let me carve my own path. What does that
Yeah.
look like to me? And there are different modalities. And art was something I went to the Unique Foundation. It's called, oh my goodness. Oh, I was just thinking of it, but it's in Provo, Utah. They work with women who had experiences of abuse when they were younger. Those kind of therapy programs or treatments, once you understand that there's all different ways, there were beautiful artists. I am not creative at all, but there's some things that everybody has their thing that connects to their soul. That's what's beautiful, really, about every human and all these different people and modalities. But
Yeah. I want to embroider that on some, if I could embroider and hang it somewhere. We all have, some beauty in our souls. We all have something to contribute. We all have that bright light somewhere.
yep,
And I'm so
yep,
glad you found yours.
yeah. Well, I think we all have it. It's how do you find it?
Yeah.
Mm,
And
That's
if anything, I mean, you really weren't set up well for believing or going forward. Your mother didn't believe in therapy. You were kind of out on your own. Here you were in college, and that can be incredibly lonely when you're away from home and everything. Even if home is not good, it's what you know. And
yeah.
here you are in a totally strange place, finding yourself again.
hmm Well, and there were so many times I lived many years thinking I don't want to be like my mother, and as long as I focus on that hard enough, I'm going to be good. And it's the realization of making lots of mess ups. And I wasn't done with mess ups even in college. It took me a long time. It was probably late 30s when I truly felt like, oh, like that awareness of, this behavior. That's why I do X, or I am very aware of reactions and anger and my feelings just because I felt like I didn't have control over it before. And
Right.
now I do. And that awareness is empowering for me.
Right. And the awareness that you have control is, you're right, that is so empowering because that gives you a chance to choose your actions. You're not just reacting anymore. You're acting.
Yep.
You're taking it forward. And
That is,
I think it's great that, I mean, you realize what you went through and you determined you were not going to take your children through that. And so many people say that, but when you have the awareness of what the depth of it is and what you could really do, you can do anything. You can accomplish anything. And it's so
absolutely.
hard to believe that when you've been victimized by the system, by abusers. It's hard.
Yeah. You don't realize how much. And it's more common, 1 in 4 women. That was shocking to me. And so we can put our blinders on, but it's there. It's happened. People were impacted, and it just takes you being kind one moment because we all are worth it. No question.
That's true. Everybody has something to give.
Mhm.
I've been doing several podcasts on different types of abuse, and we talked about verbal abuse. We talked about coercive control. We talked about how even witnessing domestic violence is domestic violence. And so this is what children go through. And it's just, it's appalling in a way, but it also gives you some idea of what we can do to help if we're aware. And that's why we do things like this podcast, is to make people aware.
Yeah. I like what you do. Your podcast, you had one on work toxic workplaces. And anyway, it really, yeah. You don't, and even coming through what I went through, you gravitate towards what you're familiar with: chaos,
Oh, yeah.
difficulty. And that's something that I took a long time to learn. And you might be aware. So you asked for a turning point. The awareness was in college, but does it happen, or are they multiple switch points along the way? I don't know, because there's not a destination. I'm still going through it. But yeah, I think that awareness, like you said, it's powerful.
I think, I don't know if you've read the autobiography in 5 chapters about Portia Nelson, where she talks about walking down the sidewalk and falling in a hole. And then the next day she walks down the same sidewalk and falls in the same hole. And it's not her fault. But the third day she walks down the sidewalk, falls into the same hole, realizes it's her fault, but she fell in anyway. And at the end of it, it's, I walked down a different street. And, that's kind of like what it's like. And yeah, that's one of the things that we try to let people know, is that there is a different way. And yes, once we have lived in chaos, it is all that we know, and we run towards it. And sometimes it's like people say, well, why do I keep getting into these same situations over and over again? What's what you knew?
Mm. It's
We
comfortable.
live what we know.
Hmm. Yeah. You know what to expect. As chaotic as that might be, and that may be more safe. That may feel or give the perception that that's safety. But yeah, it's just comfortable, and it's hard to forge a new path, but it's possible.
Yeah, well, it's all stimulation. I mean, we get stimulated by love, we get stimulated by anger, we get stimulated by so many things. And as long as there's some stimulation there, people feel like, oh, like this is a good thing. But really, it's not.
Hmm. It's it's in the quiet. Like, there's the stimulation all around, but it's in the quiet is where I feel could be difficult because of the what you're telling yourself, or it could be very therapeutic. So there's a peace and a contentment eventually that happens when your mind is quiet instead of always that stimulation, like you said. I love that. I think that's brilliant. Well said.
No, thank you. I love the part about finding yourself in the quiet too. That's also brilliant. We got to start an embroidery business, so we'll put all
We
these
should.
things out. Let's start making bumper stickers.
I like it.
I mean, again, we're raising awareness, and I don't know. How many people will see this? Hopefully, you will tell your friends if you see this and you like it.
I have told so many people about you already. So,
Like and subscribe, and we'll keep doing things like this because I'm not doing it for the fame. I'm doing it because it needs to be said. And I can only reach so many people on a given day. As a therapist, I only have so many hours in the day. But if I can reach a few more people this way, then I think it's really worth it because stories like yours are what can inspire someone to find something different. If anybody resonates with it, if anybody says, "Yeah, I can relate," the quiet moments, that's when I found myself. Or,
mm,
"Yeah, I went through that too, and if she does it, I can do it," you know?
yeah, yeah. And I feel like there's such a stigma against talking about difficulties, and it's awareness. And you are doing an amazing thing, Dr. Barker. Thank you so much for what you do. Really, you
Thank you.
thank you for sharing this, and I will help spread the word. And yes, like and subscribe. He's amazing.
Yes, I think if you have to leave us with a positive message about hope or whatever you think is positive, what would you say?
I would say your past does not define what your future will be, and never underestimate the value of a small, kind gesture towards a person or a child in need. It literally might be what saves their life and changes it. It can change their trajectory, even those small moments. Seeing those small moments when you can impact a person's life, that's what it's the moments where you can impact someone else or be there, hear someone, believe them when they reach out. And there are kids and people around us in every way, everywhere. Do you see someone struggling? Do you see someone needing help? Be that person. Be the person that leaves fruit on the doorstep. Be that person that says, I believe you. Yeah, because
A
you
little
matter.
kindness. Yeah, a little kindness goes a long way.
Mhm.
And it makes you, again, realize that maybe you matter.
Yeah, because everybody is truly fighting a battle no one else sees. Mental illness is more common than we know. And if we know trauma and mental illness and all of these are compounding and we know what's out there, we know there are people that need to hear this, that need to hear the message that it's okay to not be okay, regardless of what you went through.
Like that. It's okay to not be okay. Yeah, so many times I find myself like looking at the work that I'm trying to advance and saying that the moments of repair, they add up. And yes, I mean, just like the moments that have taken us apart can also be the moments that put us together. We can't undo the past. We can't make it go away. We
Mm.
don't have a functioning time machine. Think about how terrible that would be if everybody had one of those. But what chaos that would be. But we can go forward. We can say, okay, this was my past, but this is what my future is going to be. And go
Yeah,
forward with some determination. Listen to people who are survivors. Take the part of people who are survivors. Do one thing of kind. Do one piece of kindness, one little act, and they add up. And those moments of safety, those moments of repair, it's not to say that you won't have a bad day now and then, but once in a while, the light shines through, and then it
yeah.
becomes much more permanent.
Because that's the one thing you can control, right? Is how you respond, how you react to life.
Right.
But we do have control over that, which that's powerful. That's power.
It is. And sometimes it's a very hard thing to teach, but when people realize that I have control over this, I don't have to take this road. I can take this road.
Yeah.
I can hold on a little longer and make
Hmm.
a decision.
Yeah. Because in the midst of it, you think that it's ending, and I mean, you feel like you're in the depths of despair, knowing the other side through every, like you said, that hole. I think it's a great analogy. Because people fall in holes, fall in ditches, they stumble. There's always the other side of it. And it's how you respond and the people around you, those moments. Anyway,
That's true.
oh, I love talking about this.
Thank you for being with us, Rosie. I really appreciate having you. Maybe we can come back sometime and revisit this. You
That'd be
can tell us
great.
more.
Yeah.
I like sometimes to have people come back and tell me things that they've learned along the way and new directions that they're taking and new adventures. And it's always is an adventure, isn't it?
That's what life's about, isn't it?
It's good.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Truly,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you all for holding space for us. And I'll see you soon.
Thank you.